What up, dude bros? I'm Frank. This is a video review of the Adventure Force Monolith. This blaster is made by Dart Zone, but it's being sold under the brand name Adventure Force, which is a Walmart exclusive brand. The Monolith is a ball launcher, rival compatible, that's hopper fed with a 40 round capacity that's fully automatic. It is somewhat comparable to the rival Perses. Let's get into it. This blaster requires 6 D-type batteries and are installed as shown. External overview, starting up at the front, there's no in-strike barrel lug, but up front we have a sling attachment point here, and we have a nice comfortable place to put your offhand right here. And right here we have a new system of an access door, so if you jam the blaster, which I did not, they say you shove a rod in there and jiggle it around to clear the jam. So instead of a notch or something that you press, you need an extra tool like a screwdriver to shove in there. I could not manage to jam the blaster to actually figure out how to use this, so I'm just regurgitating what I read in the instructions. But no jams, so who cares? Up top we have an Adventure Force style tactical rail. This is compatible with Nerf attachments like this one, but it does not have the in-strike tooth to catch the little notch, so this is able to slide relatively freely. But it's compatible enough, so if you want to put on a Nerf attachment, you totally can. And below the tack rail is the hopper, which is the coolest part of this blaster. The hopper only opens on the left-hand side, not on the right-hand side. To open it, you strike the little release right here, which unlocks the door. And when you unlock it, you can pull that door open, which reveals the hopper. So to load with the hopper open, you just dump balls in like that, shut the door, and you're ready to fire. Loading this is a little bit different than the Perses, Nemesis, or Prometheus, the other hopper-fed blasters out of Nerf, because the hopper door is on the side of the blaster, not on the top of the blaster. This is both good and bad. I complained about the Perses hopper door because it's way too narrow and it spills balls all over when you try to reload quickly. This blaster is way easier to reload fast because it's such a gaping big hole. You can just dump balls in and it's almost impossible to miss. And when I did miss, this almost acts as like a little shield to just act as a funnel to shove balls in there as fast as possible. The downside of this is if you're trying to reload on the run or something, balls can jump out just a little bit easier. It's a really cool innovation compared to the rival hoppers. I wouldn't say it's better or worse, it's just a different option. And that's what Dart Zone's all about, just being a little bit different than Nerf. So I think some people are going to really like this hopper door compared to the Perses. But that is the hopper with a capacity of about 40 balls. And it comes with the Adventure Force rival compatible balls, but this blaster does feed Nerf rival rounds just fine. Moving down to the primary trigger, this blaster is a fully automatic blaster. So you hold down the trigger and it fires off continuously. It is actually somewhat tricky to just fire one. And the response time, because it features a conveyor belt loading system, is a little laggy, just like the Perses, Nemesis, and Prometheus. And below the primary trigger is the rev trigger, so you hold that for a moment before you fire. And now down to the grip. This is a smaller than average grip, especially when you compare it to the rival standard. Nerf rival blasters are designed for an older market, so they have big, beefy, thick grips. This is small on the elite standard, but it's tiny compared to rival blasters. The grip is smaller than average, but what makes this blaster uncomfortable is because it runs on heavy batteries. When the batteries are not installed in the blaster, it's actually quite comfortable because it's so light. But as I've mentioned before, when you add a ton of weight to a blaster, the ergonomics and the comfort of the grip become that much more important. And up above the grip on this side is the battery tray. This blaster runs on 6 D-type batteries, which adds a considerable amount of weight, especially compared to the Perses, which uses a rechargeable battery, which is very lightweight. And back to the stock is permanent, it's not adjustable, there are no other hidden compartments or anything else to go over. That is an external overview of the Monolith. Now I'll show you it firing. Starting with the included orange Adventure Force balls. Shooting yellow Nerf rival rounds. Operating the Monolith went pretty much as expected. The rate of fire is a little bit slow, and the hop-up unit was taking the balls a little off course, and it was a little unpredictable. Compared to most Nerf rival rounds, when they have an active hop-up, even if it's a little bit off, it's consistently off. With this blaster, I had a bunch of balls curved dramatically left and then dramatically right, so it was pretty tricky to line up a shot. Compared to a Nerf Elite blaster, shooting Nerf Elite darts, this blaster is accurate, but compared to Nerf rival blasters, I think this lacks accuracy a little bit. And I think it comes down to this hop-up unit, which was not affecting the balls consistently. But I did not experience any jams and malfunctions with this blaster. And the agitation system in this hopper is more aggressive than those in the rival blasters. So I didn't find myself shaking the blaster as much as with a Perses or a Nemesis, because the flap in the hopper violently shakes around, which is kind of simulating me shaking the blaster. So that flapper system prevented any jams and malfunctions, but the rate of fire was still a little bit inconsistent. And to compare this blaster to others, I put it up on my chronograph. With the included Adventure Force balls, I achieved an average velocity of 107 feet per second. And with Nerf rival rounds, achieved an average velocity of 105 feet per second. This is a little bit above the rival par between 90 and 100 FPS, so it's shooting on the faster side. That is all of the objective information I can provide on this blaster. Now to my personal opinion. Overall, I think Dart Zone did a pretty good job with this blaster, but I don't think it's good enough to replace my Perses in my loadout. I love the rival Perses with the out of darts hopper extension. It's my go-to rival blaster. Now don't get me wrong, I do like the innovation, so you don't have to violently shake the blaster like you do with the Nemesis and the Perses. It still helps a little bit, but it's not totally necessary. And I like the hopper door being on the side and being so big and open like this. It's really easy to drop in balls. It's also easy to drop balls out of the hopper if you're like running around and trying to reload. But if you're stationary, I would much prefer to reload this hopper over the Perses or even the Nemesis. But that's a subjective opinion. Sometimes a closed off hopper like with the Nemesis will be better for you. So overall, I think Dart Zone did what they set out to do with the Monolith. I just don't think it's enough for me personally to abandon my Perses. So to the question, to buy or not to buy. If you have all the money in the world and the value of the product is not relevant to you, I would not recommend this blaster. I would say go out and buy a Perses with the out of darts hopper extension. That is my go-to rival blaster. It's so much fun. It's compact. It's much lighter than this blaster too. Because the Perses has a rechargeable battery pack, first you're not buying a bunch of batteries, which can get expensive, but it's also much lighter, 6D batteries. It's a lot of weight, and to have it on a smaller than average grip, it's just not very comfortable for prolonged periods. And almost paradoxically, I think if you have a small enough hand to really like this grip compared to rival, the 6 batteries right there are gonna really weigh you down because you have a smaller, weaker hand than an adult. So if it's comfortable for you, it's going to be way too heavy for you. And if you're big and strong enough to not care about the weight, then this grip is going to be way too small for you. So either way there, I think the Perses is a better option than this. What I think the Monolith really is a value Perses. I think you get more bang for your buck, but if you have enough bucks, who cares? You get way more bangs out of the Perses. Did that even make sense? I don't know. So I'll be sticking with my Perses. I think most of you guys would be better off with the Perses, but I think some very select people, especially budget-oriented nerfers, may be drawn into the Monolith, and you could be quite happy with this blaster. No jams and malfunctions and a good firing performance. It does have slightly slow rate of fire, but overall a pretty solid package from Dart Zone. But if you'd like to buy one of these, I'll put a purchase link in the description box below. That concludes this video review. Thanks so much for watching, bros, and as always, stay tactical.